It's Movie Time is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. Further details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.com.
The award-winning It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
I'm Hope Madden.
And this is It's Movie Time. Hope, the movie is The Drop. Now, the writer, Dennis Lehane.
Mm-hmm.
Mystic River.
Yep. Gone Baby Gone.
Gone Baby Gone.
Shutter Island.
Ooh, Shutter Island. Forgot that. Thanks.
Yeah.
What do you think? In the canon, how does The Drop fit? What do you think?
You know, it's I think, it has a lot of the same elements, not as Shutter Island, but as the other two.
Right.
But it's a much simpler story, probably because he expanded a short story, I would think, as opposed to collapsing a novel.
Yeah.
I think you'll notice that it's his work, but it's not nearly as intricate and complicated and layered as I think the other two films.
Lots of local color.
Mm-hmm.
In the case of the first two that we mentioned, that would be Boston,
Mm-hmm.
and particularly Dorchester. And apparently they've shifted it from there to Brooklyn.
To Brooklyn.
Here.
I was curious if that was for the film, because you got to think he probably wrote it.
Yeah, it was for the film.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently. But the big feature here, not just this crime story, and not just the fact that James Gandolfini has his final role,
Mm-hmm.
playing certainly not Tony Soprano,
No,
but the big attraction would be Tom Hardy.
I would think so. For me, it was.
Why?
He's brilliant. I mean, he is the most, I think, charismatic and versatile actor working today. He has been in a couple movies that haven't been great, but he's never not been great.
Many of our audience probably haven't seen Locke.
Oh my goodness!
How
wonderful was that?
It's I guess you have to call it a one-hander.
Yeah.
He's the only one on the screen.
He is.
And driving a car, and you say to yourself, "Please, no, don't put me through it." Yes, put you through it.
Oh, absolutely! It's riveting. It's brilliant. He's magnificent. The first thing I saw him in was Bronson, which is Nicholas Winding Refn, and it is. I was so floored. I cannot remember a time I was so overwhelmed by someone's performance as I was in that movie, and I've been a diehard fan since then. I'll see anything he's in.
So in this story, he plays a bartender, Bob, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and he is bartending in his cousin Marv's, and the name of the bar is Cousin Marv's, who is James Gandolfini. And you have the drop refers to the fact that it's a bar where you would drop money from betting money and quietly and then be picked up by the mob and so on.
Right.
So it's but our bartender appears to be somewhat clueless.
A little bit maybe of kind of a simpleton.
Yes.
But I think that was one of the most amazing things about his performance is that even when, the rest of the world, and he's certainly not faking it by any stretch, but there's more to the character than that, and you sort of can see that in his eyes and his furrowed brow, stuff's going on in there. It's kind of fascinating.
And there's a little pit bull, darling.
Oh,
pit bull
so cute.
that he
That didn't
discovers.
hurt.
And that connects him to Noomi Rapace.
Mm-hmm. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the original Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Now playing like an ordinary girl.
Right, very.
And so actually the short story was originally named Animal Rescue.
Right.
So although I don't think the animal plays it does play a part. I'm just trying to figure out how important is that animal to the story.
I think that there are times where they try to parallel the dog with Bob as just straightforward, simple, not bad, we'll do what has to happen, we'll do what it takes kind of thing. Forgivable in that way.
Yes.
And uncomplicated in the way all the other characters
Good.
are.
Yeah.
That's the closest I could come.
And it gives a chance for us to see that he's a really caring, loving,
Yes.
and maybe thoughtful person.
Right.
I mean, he waits days before he confirms that he'll take care of the dog.
Right.
To the stranger,
Right.
to Rapace, and that's what I love also about this kind of small film. It's not a big romance.
No.
And I
It was
love
nice.
that.
It was.
This is
It
the
was
way life
very
is.
nice. Yeah. And you would think, especially with Tom Hardy in your film, you might want to sort of spice it up a little bit. But it was just a very, I thought, authentic sort of awkward courtship. Sweet. It was sweet.
I'm beginning to think this guy Hardy, and I guess part of the purpose of our show, not only to alert you to a very fine small film, but to get you on track here with maybe the premier actor of our time.
Right.
And, come on, Daniel Day-Lewis is very good. Right?
Yeah.
But he doesn't give us much of him. Lewis doesn't. He's so sparing
Right.
with what he gives us.
Exactly.
You have to say, here's a guy who's doing...
we lost Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Right.
Yeah, I mean...
So Hardy, regardless of how you look at it, is there. Do you think that Brando is a fair comparison?
You know what? I do, because I think that he has that smolder about him. He's not traditionally good looking, but there's something really alluring about him, even in roles like this one, where he's certainly not playing a sex symbol.
No. And oh my Lord, does the camera love him? And these directors can't keep their camera off of him in close-ups.
No. Well, his face is so expressive without... he's just magnificent. And, I loved, and I was sorry, seeing James Gandolfini made me a little sad. Yeah. He's so wonderful. And he's really very good in this. Although, if you got a chance to see Enough Said, oh, that's the one. That's the one to see.
Right. He really breaks away.
He does.
With Enough Said. This one, it's the same kind of milieu as The Sopranos. He's completely different. He's not in charge in this one. He's lost it to Chechens.
Right.
The lead Chechen is very good.
He is very good. And I just liked how they didn't dwell on it there a lot, but there was just sort of a nod to a change in the playing field. How, the Italians in Brooklyn have lost. They're just not nearly as savage as the Chechens, and there's just this quick open the back of a van. You're like, oh no, I would do what they say. I would do that, whatever they're asking. Do it.
Here you have two guys. You have Hardy and Gandolfini, who are, not pushovers. They're tough guys.
Intimidating presence, as you would think.
And Gandolfini brings Tony Soprano to his roles, when he's going to do this. So they're, I'm not cowering.
No.
But they're absolutely, as you say, deferential.
Right.
To the Chechens who have taken over the neighborhood. Yeah. And it's true. It's a cultural shift in that place. That's part of what I love about the film. There is a presence of evil or death hanging about that place. It's there even in the bar. I mean, how can these guys be so comfortable? This place is about ready to blow up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's really not a character who's truly above it or truly sort of pure from it. They're all just different layers of tainted by it.
Yeah, the other actor that I thought was impressive was Matthias Schoenaerts, who plays Eric Deeds.
Yeah. He was in Rust and Bone, a French movie a couple of years ago, and he was magnificent and completely unrecognizable in this film. When I realized it was the same person, I was floored.
Yeah, good for you. It reminded me that the kind of role that Bruce Dern used to play.
Absolutely. It's a little off, a little, menacing.
Yes, these angular guys.
Exactly, and unpredictable. And I think he really brought a very fascinating tone to the movie, so it was in no way a straight gangster film, and you could see where, Tom Hardy's character is just like, what's going on here? Like, is this connected to that? No, it's not connected. Well, maybe it's connected to that. Well, this guy's crazy. And, it was very...
There certainly is a good arc to Hardy's character.
Yes.
And there are, as you said, there are many layers in his performance. And it makes me, again, think about why I love film acting so much. And I came from theater, so I really appreciate that. But when I look at people like that who can act for a camera that's unrelenting, and how each twitch means something, this is just brilliant stuff. I think it's so demanding. And so looking at Hardy, who is much lower key than Brando, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's that thing that you can see and appreciate, and the whole ambience. If you like Mystic River, if you like Gone Baby Gone, these are people on the outs. They're just not mainstream, but they're moving. They're trying to groove. They're trying to find it.
Exactly. They're just living their lives in a way that would be really hard for someone like me to do.
Oh, Hope. What do you think? Anything else here?
I'm good.
We've mentioned the smaller characters now. Nomi Rapace. Just you're saying that everybody in some way or another is connected to this kind of how should I say it? Evil, not evil. Maybe that's too strong. But anyway,
Just in some way tainted by it. You know that
Yes.
her character, she's got a scar on her neck from where she apparently tried to kill herself at one point. Back when she was, she said, very high out of her mind. So you know that while during the course of this film, she's certainly the most upright citizen, but you get the sense that she's got a shady past.
yes. Well, it's our time, Hope, and the film is The Drop. And Hope Madden, what grade would you award this film?
I would go B+.
And I have to say, I'm also a B plus, and I don't know why it doesn't hit an A. I guess when I juxtapose it with the two films we talked about.
That's exactly it for me. As much as I enjoyed it,
Yeah.
it didn't resonate, I think, in the way that the others
Yeah.
did. It didn't surprise me as much as the others
Yeah.
did.
And perhaps it's not as complex in some way.
Yeah. It's not, I think, as emotionally gut-wrenching as those two are.
Right. Okay. However,
It's very nice.
worth seeing.
Absolutely.